Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can. He's a pig. Oh, he's the Spider Pig.
Hi, my name is Peter Porker.
Peter Porker.
Intro. Dawn of discussion.
So, welcome to Dawn of Discussion, where
the points are made up.
Yes, and nothing matters. Today we're talking about Spider-Man. We watched
Far From Home
last week, and then we were going to do an episode about it, but then things got in the way. But we're talking about it now.
So, what do we get on Rotten Tomatoes just quickly?
Yeah, let me find out real quick. Ooh, this table is very, very spinny. Should we...
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, let's just move the legs.
Fixed it.
One day you will see an episode where we're not just adjusting stuff in the middle. Far From Home. So, it's got a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I'd accept that. So.
Now, let's start with
general thoughts of the film.
General thoughts before we kind of go into spoilers, because I'm guessing, we shouldn't just...
Lead off with spoilers.
Yeah. I mean, who are we? Tom Holland?
Or Mark Ruffalo. You recorded the film on your phone by accident, right? You can just slip that in there.
Yeah, I'll basically, basically it's not nothing big, just audio really.
Yeah.
But I'll slip some audio in there.
All right, so
yeah. Generally,
good film. Yeah.
Good film.
Very
It's really
enjoyable. Liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, like, in terms of like my ranking of like Spider-Man films, I don't know if it will break top 3, but
it's high up there.
It's high up there, and it had some of the most amazing things that I've ever seen in the MCU.
Yeah.
Especially some of the Mysterio stuff was amazing.
Yeah, the Mysterio stuff was really well handled in that film. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Really well handled.
I liked the fact that it wasn't necessarily in America, but like all over Europe.
Yeah.
Just kind of see Spider-Man outside of his natural habitat. I have one little complaint though.
I know what it is, but it's fucking for a comedic bit. Just get over
it. It probably is, but...
Let me put it this way. Is shrimp on a Barbie something in Australia people say?
Fine.
Exactly. They're Americans. They don't actually know anything about country. And actually, I will say, the one thing that bothered me about their trip to Europe is that whenever films like this happen, they always go to Europe. Not Asia, not Africa, not South America, but Europe. Has anyone else ever noticed this?
To be fair, Europe is arguably a little bit further. Well, actually, no, it's the other side.
Asia's equally as far.
The thing is, Spider-Man would thrive in Asia, actually. That would be pretty cool. You see Spider-Man in Hong Kong or Tokyo.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, like, people, like...
That's part 3.
The web swinging, like... It's a bit of a nitpick, but I remember when Endgame happened and Peter was swinging through into the portal and then landed, I was kind of like, there are no tall buildings where Titan is, it's just rubble. What's he swinging on? Nah, I'm sure he's fine some. But that's the thing, it's like...
Yeah.
Venice is not a high city.
Well, no.
It's like... And same with London, they're not tall high rises.
No, we don't have skyscrapers here.
No, so him swinging around is like him, like, just pretty much swing. Too close to the ground, walk, swing.
Pretty much.
Like that's the thing.
I mean, you can still get around, as I've learned from that amazing game called Ultimate Spider-Man, where he could still like use the webs to kind of pull himself over the buildings and gain some momentum. So he basically like flies over, and then when he's starting to go down, he can pull himself again by shooting webs. And,
yeah.
That's not a big a deal, but still, it was interesting that they went where they went. It's kind of unfortunate that they didn't go to Paris, because in Paris he would have actually done relatively okay, I guess.
Yeah, Paris is a little taller than London. Not hugely tall, but a little taller.
Yeah. But
plus, I would have loved to have seen him swing around the Eiffel Tower. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing.
Now, going into a couple of characters, I will say the majority of them were really good.
Yeah, I like the majority.
And I think pretty much all of them had good chemistry.
Yeah, they all have very good chemistry with each other.
I less so now, but I still have issues with MJ.
Yeah, I'm still not
working.
I'm still not completely sold on MJ. She doesn't feel like MJ.
Because mostly because she's not. They did confirm that she is a different MJ.
Yeah.
Because she has a different name and all that, but
yeah.
it still feels weird to do that.
Yeah, it feels very forced. I think that's part of it. Like a lot of films have managed to I will say, as dull as the CW DC stuff can be, they handle the diversity stuff I think relatively well.
Yeah.
Because Iris in Flash, she's annoying, but that's because of her character, it's not because of who she is. I don't think anyone really complained about how Iris looked in
this is not necessarily a diversity issue. If I really want to make a diversity issue out of it, I would have said Flash. Because Flash is still... It doesn't work for me.
Because he's not blonde?
Well, because he's not a blonde bully hunk, you know? He's more like a weird, I'm talking about Flash and Spider-Man.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You need to specify Flash because I was thinking of Flash.
Thompson.
Proper
Thompson.
Flash Thompson. Okay.
He's not Flash. You know, I think to myself, when I think about someone who could be Flash, I think about someone who could be potentially Agent Venom at some point, and he is not him. You know.
That's true, but I feel like the thing is that I have less of a problem with because I think no one's really a jock bully anymore. It just doesn't work anymore because everyone's progressed past it so much further now. The whole douchey vlogger thing really appealed to me because to be fair, if they made him look like Logan Paul.
Well, yeah, because Logan Paul actually does look like Flash Thompson.
Yeah, actually, fuck, they should have just cast Logan Paul.
Why didn't they just do that?
Oh my god, that would have been... No, then no one would have seen it. Everyone
they should have cast Jake Paul probably because he does actually look like a 15-year-old.
And Jake Paul's actually worse. He is a lot worse. The only problem is, though, I think... I would imagine, the guys in Spider-Man probably... Why don't we just get one of the Paul brothers to do it? No one will see it then.
That's not entirely true. Different people will see it.
Wrong people will see it.
They will have a completely different demographic.
Yeah, the wrong... No Spider-Man would see the Spider-Man film, which I don't think Stan Lee would be happy about.
I still think it
or Marvel Studios. Yeah. I don't think either one would be happy about.
I still think it would have been a step up in terms of let's say if Jake Paul never had a scandal in his life and he was just an ordinary human being, he would still be a better...
Yeah.
You know.
But that's basically just saying if Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul but still looked like himself, he'd be...
Yeah, okay, that's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's not the point I'm making though. They could have just found anyone who looks like Jake Paul and just been thrown him in the film.
That is true.
But yeah. I'm more okay with Flash Thompson than I am with MJ because I feel like the sassiness is kind of similar to MJ, but I feel like it's really blown out of proportion. It's very over dramatized, or I don't know. It feels like it's overly done to a point where I feel put off by it, as opposed to actually finding it interesting.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But I like the best friend though. He's great.
What, Ned?
Ned is just fantastic. Awesome. I love Ned.
I'll be honest, I enjoyed Ned and Betty. Their relationship was just funny as hell. Oh. Because it was so stupid, all the way through.
That's the thing, yeah, because, have you ever seen the Vacation movies?
I mean, yeah, a few.
I don't know why, but I got those vibes when they were in Europe with those two. Those two just reminded me of the Vacation movies, for some reason. I was they're just so stupidly comedic, it's brilliant.
Pretty much.
Ned felt like Russell, pretty much to me. I don't know why.
Oh, you mean from Up?
No, Russell, the kid from Vacation. That was one of
fair enough. Yeah. Got you.
And actually, yeah, kind of the kid from Up, actually. No,
because they look alike.
It kind of, yeah, similar. Oh.
Yeah. So basically, so pretty much everything else that we're going to discuss at this point is kind of a spoiler.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of head into it. The Mysterio plot twist. Despite the fact that we knew that he was a villain. we didn't know exactly in what way, and I think that they handled it very well.
Yeah.
Like this is again like a different way of portraying Mysterio.
Because I think Mysterio in the comics isn't he just an actor?
He's basically an actor, but he didn't do well as an actor. But he's also a a special effects artist.
Yeah.
So basically, then what he did was he became a villain using these special effects arts, and then basically Spider-Man outed him as a fraud.
Yeah. Well,
He
he became a hero
yeah.
and then was outed as a fraud. Yeah.
So like in the comics, and it's worth saying in the comics there were multiple Mysterios, but at pretty much every point everyone thought it was Quentin Beck, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the vibe I got at the very end. So obviously, as we said, spoilers, Mysterio is the bad guy. If you don't know Marvel comics or Spider-Man comics, fair enough. You
This
probably
was kind
won't know
of
that.
an obvious.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think, unless you do have knowledge of the comics, you wouldn't know. You'd have no reason to suspect Mysterio whatsoever.
That's true because
I know a few people from work who didn't know, and they said it was a good plot twist when they found out.
Yeah. I will say though, there was a slight problem that I found, and actually a couple of people that I talked to said it has ruined the film. I wouldn't agree, but when the plot twist was revealed,
and it was
and they did the whole like talk.
It was Tony Stark.
It was not necessarily that. The problem was there was such a like non-stop vomiting of exposition, where it's constantly like, talking about like them telling exactly what happened and what it is. Rather than kind of showing it to us as they did later when Spider-Man found the projector thing. So if there was anything that I would have thought would have made it slightly better in the edit, is still keep that scene because I thought it was a funny scene and I thought it was really good, and basically put it in after, like basically when Spider-Man leaves the pub, just cut to like Peter coming back and. Taking Michelle out, or MJ. I'll call her Michelle because I don't want to call her MJ.
No.
Basically takes her to the bridge and then they found the projector. And then it cuts to Mysterio and his lackeys like laughing in the pub and like talking about all these things.
Yeah.
Because what I really liked about that scene is it reminded me of the scene in The Dictator. With Sacha Baron Cohen.
I know the film, but which scene?
The scene where basically like, how he finds the engineer that he supposedly had executed, and then he follows him into a restaurant, and every time he looks at someone, he remembers that he had that particular person executed.
Yeah.
To the point where even he looked at the cow, and it was like on the cow. It kind of reminded me of that, which made
me
think that it was kind of funny in that sense.
Yeah.
It was really funny to see like the guy who was shouted at by Obadiah Stane was there.
Tony Stark managed to build this in a cave! That was a good callback. I liked that. That was really well done. That was.
So that's why I feel like that scene needs to stay in there, because that made those characters like have a character in a way.
Yeah, it made them feel like they're part of the universe, not just like they were thrown in.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair. I think he was the only one that got that flashback scene where we all actually recognized him. Because I'm pretty sure the rest were just sort of just thrown in there and then just...
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But him being in there really made it work really well. And it wouldn't surprise me if he's the next Mysterio. He probably will be the next Mysterio.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, so that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, that one I thoroughly
The effects surrounding Mysterio were amazing. And especially that bit where Spider-Man arrives in Germany and then he steps in the car with Fury and gets to the UN building, and then everything just kind of becomes like almost like this scarecrow, like in Batman Arkham Asylum,
like a fear toxin similar sort of thing. Where
that was amazing.
That was very well done.
I thought it was probably my favorite scene in the entire MCU, probably in terms of looks.
Yeah, visually it was I think the most astonishing, which is amazing to say coming off the back of Endgame.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing. Like Endgame had fantastic set pieces, but visually there was nothing quite like this.
Yeah, that's true.
It was like basically, if there was a villain that came close to like having something like a similar power to a Power Stone or a Infinity Stone, Mysterio would be like the Reality Stone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very true.
Imagine
what he would
Mysterio having the Reality Stone. Holy shit!
Wow.
But yeah, like I just loved it. And Jake Gyllenhaal played like the whole like, you know, the whole like instantly swapping hero to villain like within a scene
really well.
was really well up until like that mid-credit scene where he convinced everyone that Spider-Man killed him and that Spider-Man is the real villain.
Yeah.
That was amazing, which also gave us one of the best cameos in the entirety of the MCU. I mean,
I'm so glad he's
I'm sorry
back.
to Stan Lee to say this, but
I
I'm sorry.
think this beats. I think it's because it's the first time.
It is.
I think that's all it is. And it wouldn't surprise me if they do more Spider-Man films afterwards if he comes back.
I'd love that.
I think he won't have as much of a prominent role, but I think he'll get scenes just thrown in there.
It was just fun to see him more than anything.
It was good to have him back. Good, sort of old nostalgia feels going. Oh my god, he's back.
I will say that post-credit scene. I just had some question marks above my head. Really, I didn't really.
The one where he was outed. Or
at
the very end with the scrolls.
With the scrolls.
Yeah, I assume it has something either to do with Captain Marvel or the next Avengers film. It's gonna be one of those two.
I mean, I'm guessing probably the next Captain Marvel because it's not very likely that we're gonna get a big Avengers film. Well, we're probably gonna get a big Avengers film like at the very end if they decide to round it off. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like I didn't see the point of doing that necessarily because it confirmed my theory about like. Nick Fury being a Skrull.
Yeah. But he's still alive.
Yeah, and it's not exactly what I meant when I said that, technically.
Yeah.
So, you know. Yeah. And Talos of all people as well. Like it still like further tries to push the idea that Skrulls are the good guys, even though it still doesn't work for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't still too convinced. I don't mind the idea if half some of the Skrulls are good, but most of them are evil. That to me I'd be more okay with, and Talos just happens to be one of the very few good ones. That I'm okay with, but the fact that it's pitching most of them as good, I have a problem with that. I will say, sorry. What was I going to say? It was about one of the moments in the film. Which scene? Oh, I don't know why. Actually, I do know exactly why. But when they were talking about the elementals, I couldn't get D&D out of my head. Because elementals play a major role. Like I've been playing longer than you, so I've actually fought elementals in D&D. Yeah. So I was kind of like, when does this become D&D? What's next? A dragon? 30 seconds later, a dragon will fly. I don't know, but like, yeah, there we go. But no, I thought the elementals were a fun little pitch. Like, to be fair. I must confess, I would be one of those guys that as soon as Quentin Beck left and like after going, fire, the strongest of them all, and then left, it's like, does everyone else smell bullshit here? I mean, they're all equally powerful. They're literally the elements.
They are. Actually, a lot of what he said was kind of odd, because like he also said, I'm from universe, what was it, like 88933 or something like that?
333, I think it was.
And this universe is 616.
Yeah.
It's not though, is it?
No, it's not.
It's actually 1999 officially. So, he kind of...
Yeah, I guess he's just bullshitting his way through it though, that's the thing.
Like, like Nick Fury said, that is some bullshit.
That was the best part, when at the very end that he goes, he's becoming too powerful, he's absorbing the Earth cores, and there's just him going, I smell some bullshit going on. I must confess, up to that point, I wasn't like, because I work at a cinema chain, just so people know. So I saw both after credit scenes before I saw the film. So I knew the twist that Nick Fury was a Skrull, and I went in pretty much all the way up to that point where like I smell some bullshit, and then he just stands there really coolly and just watches the drone get shot by the rocket launcher by his wife. The whole time it's like, this is so clearly just not Nick Fury, because he's not acting smart about most of this stuff. Like, he's clearly out of his depth. It felt more obvious after watching it, I will say.
Yeah, true. So, yeah.
Trying to think what else we could talk about to do. I guess we should now talk about what's next for Spider-Man.
So... he's obviously in a very unfortunate and weird situation.
Here's the thing I will say. I don't think... I think it's going to be a weird conundrum where people will know who he is. Spider-Man won't be officially a criminal because I'm sure Talos, or whoever it is, another high-ranking, probably Pepper Potts as well. So Stark Industries and Nick Fury will both come out saying no, Quentin Beck was the bad guy, and they'll basically reveal the rest of it. But I think either way, so Spider-Man's not a criminal, but he won't have the trust of the public because people won't know whether or not to believe the government or what Quentin Beck said, because from what people saw. Because the thing is, I'm also going to imagine people recording the whole thing on their iPhones, at which point when the illusion fades, when he says, oh, I would manage to send the elementals back through the rift, it's like, well, there's no physical proof he did that because there wasn't any of the holograms showing the elemental going through a rift. So it's like people could just show the drones coming out and like, this motherfucker lying, and just like then. So I think he's going to be in a weird circumstance where people know who he is. He's not a criminal, but he's not trusted. I think that's how it's going to go.
Well, that's the thing, because, you know, in the comics, obviously, I mean, through different means, but Peter Parker was outed at some point as well as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Although the big difference is he did it himself. The only way he could fix it by making a deal with Mephisto.
With who?
Mephisto?
Never heard
He's
of that.
literally, like, basically he's like the devil of... you know who he is. He's the devil of the Marvel Universe. He's the one who enlists the Ghost Riders.
Okay. So
You know.
I don't. I'm not. No, I don't know. I'm not as bit. I
You've
know,
seen Ghost Rider.
No,
Don't you?
I haven't.
Well, that's a fucking first to me.
Have you seen this one really shit movie? No, because sometimes
Really?
I have more self-respect.
I've
Sometimes.
seen it at least twice.
Be honest, have you regretted it?
Once.
Second? Yes. After you
Because
saw
the
it the
first
second.
time I was very young.
Exactly. There you go.
But you know at least how Ghost Rider got his powers.
I have a vague knowledge of it.
Okay,
very vague.
so obviously this is a different, in the past, Sony character that was brought back, but basically the whole idea of Ghost Rider was basically he was a stunt biker like his dad, and basically like his dad was going on and on, and at some point he found out that his dad had cancer, so he was willing to do pretty much anything to get that cancer gone. So Mephisto showed up and he was like, you know what, I can help you.
So he did what most devils do, is he made a pact and...
Yeah, he said, give me your soul and I will rid your father of his illness. And it was like, yeah, okay, fine, yeah, cool. So he did that. Next show that his father did, he died in a motorbiking accident. His
father? Wow, fuck.
So I was like, oh, fuck, Mephisto, you screwed me over. And he was like, yes, but he didn't die of the cancer, so I have your soul now. Okay, bye-bye. And I don't know how it happened in the comics necessarily, but in the film, basically, at some point Mephisto was basically being harassed by his son, and they were about to kill him, so he said, okay, I summon my Ghost Rider. So that's when Johnny Blaze turns into Ghost Rider for the first time, rides his bike and, like, you know, defends him.
Did you ever see the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s version of Ghost Rider?
I've seen bits of him, and I know that he exists in the comics as well, but I haven't actually properly seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. until that point.
Yeah. Right.
I've only seen the first season, so I really should, like, you know, put myself past that.
Yeah. What else?
But yeah, so that's Mephisto. So basically, he.
I don't think they're going to go through that.
So basically, the deal that Mephisto made with Spider-Man in the comics was basically, I'll give you your identity back. It will be secret. No one will ever know. But you know the beautiful redhead that you're married to? You won't be married to her anymore. She will not be in love with you anymore.
Wow.
And he made the deal.
Wow.
He went for it.
Fucking wow.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to go through that route. In
Probably
the
not.
movies,
What I'm thinking.
They've not done anything to introduce Mephisto.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is probably going to happen. This is a way that they could do it. Basically by introducing the Chameleon. Because the Chameleon is known for, like, pretending to be Spider-Man quite often. So if people then see Peter Parker and the Chameleon at the same point,
same place, yeah.
they would be like, hang on, something's weird here.
Yeah, so they'll be like, oh, so Quentin Beck was lying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so I'm guessing if they're going to do another Spider-Man film, the villains are going to be the second Mysterio and the Chameleon.
Yeah, there we go. So it'll probably be that. Thing is, would the person who's being Mysterio, would they use a hologram to make Quentin Beck Mysterio? Or
Yeah, they would still like pretend to be Quentin Beck and everything. And just go like, I am a different Quentin Beck from a different universe.
I'm from another universe, or I'm from your universe this time, you don't know.
Yeah.
My family was in London when I saw myself save the world.
You could literally just like change the costume slightly and just go like, I am the Quentin Beck from Earth 1610. It's like, fuck off, man. You're just making this shit up
at this point, you just hear Nick Fury wake up and go, I smell some more bullshit.
Yeah, basically. They could do anything at this point with the second Mysterio.
Yeah. So, obviously, at this point, everyone's beginning to theorize they're building a Sinister Six for the Marvel Spider-Man. So, they've got Scorpion.
Yeah, they've got Vulture.
They've got Mysterio.
They've got, well, yeah, a second Mysterio.
A second Mysterio at the very
least.
They've
Shocker, technically.
Shocker died, though.
Yeah, but someone else can pick up the...
Yeah, I guess so.
They could have... I mean, Prowler is technically not a bad guy.
I'm gonna say... No, they won't. Because the thing is, if they're meant to do 3 more, the last film will be the Sinister Six film.
Yeah.
So they've got 2 more films that introduce more villains.
Yeah.
So chances are... I doubt they could go with Shocker, but I don't think they will. I think they're going to go with a more bigger main stage villain.
Yeah.
So I think...
They might introduce Doc Ock.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think
the thing is, with Doc Ock, you again run the risk of the whole like thing where basically, you know, like I told you when we watched the film, the main thing I noticed about Spider-Man villains is that they're technically Iron Man villains that have to fight with Spider-Man instead.
Yeah. I think...
Like they have beef with Iron Man more than anything.
I suspect though, so the next villains they'll possibly use in the next 2 Spider-Man films before the 5th one will either be, I suspect Rhino could pop up.
Yeah,
I don't think Electro will because they've used him too recently. But anything's possible.
I mean, I guess Rhino was also in the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, but he wasn't one of the main villains.
True.
That's the only thing. So they'll probably they could use the more comic booky version of him, to be fair, instead of the robotic art.
Yeah, I suppose.
What else? I suspect Doc Ock will definitely make a return, and I suspect he'll be the first proper main stage Spider-Man villain who has beef with Spider-Man.
What is also maybe worth considering is the villain doesn't necessarily have to be a Spider-Man villain as well. Like it could be a villain previously already introduced with other people. Although I really have to dig and think who would
there's
appropriate because
there's almost basic because the thing is
one.
Well, the other thing is also to remind people is it's like, they could use anyone else from any other Marvel film. No. Why? Because they're all fucking dead.
They're either
because
dead
Marvel kills all their villains, so they never come back.
They're either dead or off-world or otherwise.
Yeah.
Like there's no one currently incarcerated that could be a Spider-Man villain.
Because the only one I can actually think of that's still alive and on Earth is Baron Zemo, and I suspect he'd rather return to be a Falcon villain rather than a Spider-Man villain.
There's another one, but it's very, very, very unlikely because he is in the Netflix show, and that would be Kingpin.
Yeah, no.
But it's very unlikely.
No, I don't think it'd be Kingpin.
Although it would be cool to see a Spider-Man and Daredevil team up.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be interesting. Oh shit! Imagine, imagine if Spider-Man actually sues, the people who made Mysterio. And then Matt Murdock is his lawyer.
Oh, that would be brilliant.
Because that's basically, I think something similar happened in the comics as well. I think...
Yeah, because Matt Murdock has represented Peter a few times, or Spider-Man at the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has, absolutely.
So that would be fun. Because
they're good buds, aren't they?
Yeah, that's how the Kingpin handover happened as well.
Sure.
I think Kingpin sued Spider-Man.
There we go, Netflix.
There you go.
Universe
Make that crossover happen, because you have literally only one good superhero to offer for this whole thing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of
I don't know.
I'll be interested to see if they ever eventually decide to introduce Black Cat to any of the Spider-Man movies, because they've never introduced her.
That'd be interesting.
I suspect they probably never will, because I think Marvel would be too scared of doing it into the cinematic universe, because then you're going to have some people going, oh, so you're basically copying Catwoman. Which, to be fair, is technically true, because Catwoman came before her, but movie fans don't know shit, because they think DC copies Marvel.
The thing is, Catwoman hasn't actually really appeared properly since Dark Knight Rises, and before that as Halle Berry kind of standalone film.
And then before that is
As Eartha Kitt, I believe, probably.
Can't remember the name of the actress from the Michael Keaton one. What was the name?
Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I thought it was Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
Did you forget Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yeah, I did.
God damn it, Rock.
Which is weird.
Yeah, considering she's one of the only other really good adaptations of a character on screen. Yeah, she has her moments. It's not perfect. It's a good film, at least.
It is a good film. It is a good film.
Well, that's the thing. Like, once again, this is me pointing out. Movie fans are stupid because you got Marvel movie fans who, once again, never read comics going, DC copies Marvel, and just me going, no, that's just not true. I'm sorry. That's well, okay, I'll give you. They copy a lot of movie stuff that Marvel does. So, the amount of times Marvel's copied DC, I think DC's earned the right to do it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Just saying, 70% of old Marvel superheroes are rip-offs. 70%. The other 30% are originals, in which DC is ripped off.
Yeah, it's kind of a back and forth thing.
It is, but it's more heavily Marvel doing it than DC.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not what this discussion is about.
Obviously not.
But I think they'd be a little more put off to put Black Cat into a movie just because of that reason.
Yeah.
They may do it. At which point I'll be very interested
Black
to see how
Cat, I think they wanted to introduce Black Cat in The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, because
she was in it.
Yeah, she was. Felicia Hardy was in it. She was the assistant to Harry Osborn.
Yeah.
In the second one, yeah.
And
I must confess, even though the second Amazing Spider-Man wasn't great, I was disappointed that they never did the third.
A little bit, yeah, because they were building
up
to
see how they ended it.
They were really building up to stuff, but like they didn't really know where to go.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, like with these films as well, like as much as I think Sinister Six is going to be very likely, they haven't really done anything to build up to it yet.
Not yet, no.
They're just
they had a after credits scene, I think, in the first. Yeah,
film. where Vulture meets
Scorpion, and Scorpion's like, hey, yo, I know some people on the outside who are interested in who Spider-Man is. Do you know who he is? He's like, no.
Yeah, but then the villains that would be in that group will be very much like B-list Spider-Man villains. Like there won't be any big, like Doc Ock wouldn't be one of them.
In the Sinister Six?
Well, Scorpion's friends, basically.
I feel like Scorpion would work for Osborn because he said he worked for someone.
Maybe.
Because I think Osborn will be. I think Green Goblin will be the guy.
I'm more thinking maybe someone who's actually like more like mob orientated, like Tombstone.
Oh, true.
Or someone like that.
Well, ultimately they could do the film where it's like, here's the Sinister Six, and you've got Scorpion and some mob guys like Tombstone, and then all of a sudden, big plot twist. Nope, there were a more serious Sinister Six the whole fucking time, and it is Scorpion, it's Vulture, it's Mysterio, it's Doc Ock, it's Green Goblin, it's Rhino, and whoever the sixth person would be.
Pretty much. Well, I think we're due to go to a break at this point.
Yep.
Small.
Cooking. Probably next door.
Really nice cooking as well.
Want to go knock next door and ask?
Yeah. We'll go knock on the door next door. Meet the neighbor. Ask for food. We'll be right back with hopefully fuller bellies. So I'll keep this running.